Hi, you're listening to the Strings of Fate podcast. My name is Michelle, and I play Lidara on the show. Thank you so much for listening.
The dirt road out of Goldstead is rocky and well-traveled, the tracks of many wagons leaving permanent imprints on the golden route. The sweeping plains stretch for miles outward, eventually meeting with thick canopied forest and various outcroppings, and on the horizon you can just make out the figures of mountain ranges. And with the clouds finally parting, there is a beautiful landscape ahead of you. The wagon is pulled along, a bit of deliberation over which of you could drive, the answer eventually coming to none of you. But you did recently meet someone who seems pretty experienced, and with talk of a Donegan gang camp out just an hour or two into the Golden Route, it wasn't hard to convince her. And as Bonnie takes the reins of this wagon in front with, how's this positioned? Who's sitting next to Bonnie? Who's in the back, etc.?
Me in the back.
Azurum's definitely in the back.
Okay, I'll sit in the front with my sis.
You're good at perception, so you can
Search.
keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out.
You are making your way down this road, at first pretty steadily. Bonnie kind of speaks up and says, "So, do y'all have a plan when it comes to facing off with the camp, or are we just winging it?"
Usually.
I guess we're gonna go with the second half, the just winging it.
Probably, yeah.
Honestly,
I don't even know how many people are there, or how armed they are. Or...
Not a single clue. Yeah.
is it like a tent camp? Is it like more of an established camp?
Like a big community kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
is
what,
there
how,
like?
I'm
is
really
like
sure.
I was thinking tent camp.
tent?
Probably.
That's what I thought. I mean, I have no actual information on it, but tent camp seems like reasonable, right? When you think of
Hopefully.
camps. I've never actually camped before.
You've never been camping?
I've camped with you all when we were traveling north, but I don't really rough it.
Oh,
I've been traveling.
Interesting.
Pretty boy.
We've been camping a little bit. I mean, the camps that we make on the sides of the road. I mean, that's camping.
That's camping.
Yeah, like
This is the first time.
In like a vague sense, yeah, camping, but it's fine. So Bonnie.
Yes.
Do you know anything that we should know about them before we just kind of like jump headfirst into that?
About the Donegan gang? I mean, they're murderers. They're thieves.
Cool.
They are really not one for. They don't fancy themselves even lawful, or not lawful, I suppose, but honorable criminals. They mostly just take what they want. And they've been terrorizing this part of the Painted Valley for quite some time. If we run into them, there could be a scuffle, but at the same time, I'd rather not fight off a whole camp of them. It could end in a lot of unnecessary bloodshed.
So they're just a bunch of rat bastards, and are they all family?
No, that's the thing. You'd think with the name, but they named after Denton O'Donegan. I mean, he just takes about anybody that can wield a gun.
Oh, I see.
And or swing a sword at this point.
So if there are a lot of them, I'd say over maybe 10?
Didn't someone say like 30 of them?
Well,
In total,
but
but
that
like,
was, yeah. That
we
was
don't know
sort of...
who's going to be there specifically.
Right.
At the main camp, I've approximated around 30 from what I've been able to see, which is why I've not charged in looking for O'Donegan's head. But their numbers are spread out across the valley itself. So there could be a lot of them. And usually fighting's not their strong suit, as you witnessed during town. And they're all quite cowardly, as you also witnessed during the encounter. But numbers are where they tend to excel. When you stomp one rat, another one is right around the corner.
Do we want to do our usual of going in? I mean, as we're making a distraction or something, trying to convince people of things, and then you sneak around.
I mean, that usually goes pretty decently for
My
us.
only fear is that they do want my head. So if anything does slip up, I mean, yeah, I can disguise myself, yeah. So.
That's an option.
We can do that. It's probably the easiest.
I can try and maybe just get up close to them. As close as, like, is safe.
Do you think they'd take a bribe?
Oh, absolutely. I think, honestly, if you want to, if you pony up coin, I mean, they're most likely to be receptive to you, though not really the most favorable people in which I'd want to depart with my money.
Yeah.
But, I guess that's one way.
We could bribe them, we could swindle them, we could fight them. That'd probably not be the best idea, but...
I feel like if we fight them, we're going to be getting into more than...
Definitely last on the list of things I'd like to do.
But also, if we fight them, we could be saving a whole lot more other people from them. I mean, they've been causing terror on this town for a while. I mean, it could be good, but I'm not trying to waste our time. But hypothetically, if we could, it might not be the worst idea.
Didn't Doc say that he had to pay some sort of fee?
I was just about to say that. We should have asked maybe how much the fee was and see if we could have just paid the fee for him.
What was the fee for? Like, do you think that they're maybe, like...
We could ask them, maybe? If they even want to talk to us, which
Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, Doc mentioned that there was some kind of toll.
Right.
You pay tolls when you go to bridges or ferries or something along those lines. A toll enacted. I don't know if that's an official thing or.
I was about to say maybe it's not, for the government or anything. Maybe it's just these Donegans, whatever, setting up outside in areas and just taking money from people.
That sounds about right.
So they're pieces of shit, basically.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be enacting a little bit of my own agenda here. I need to gather as much information as I can. I've already got the other one tied up, ready to be taken back to nearest peacekeeper location, in which I can turn that fella in. But first, I'm gonna make him squeal, and I'm going to get as much information on Denton as I can to maybe try my luck at getting in and out of the main fort that they got.
Honestly, who names their kid Denton?
It's a bad name.
It's just like you look at your little baby and you're like, Denton.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as, like, Floon.
Or
Floon
like...
is a bad name. I was not going to say anything, but you're right.
And
I'm sorry. I know he's your friend.
But am I wrong?
It's not a great name, but it's
not a good name. You have to...
You know how things... sovereignty. I mean, weird names abound.
Floon?
Floon is amongst the lower tier of names that I've heard, but he's a nice fellow.
I'm sure he is. We never talked to him after that one time. I feel bad. Anyway, back to the matter at hand.
God, I hope he's well. Anyways, Denton is a bad name.
What's the plan?
I say maybe once we get closer, we slow down for a second, and maybe Lidara, you can go forward and see if you can get some information, and then with that information, Vincent and I can kind of get in there, and then we snatch the bag without anyone noticing, and we leave.
Bonnie and Renee, are you guys gonna just stay here?
It might be a good idea to have someone stay with the wagon.
Yeah, I can stay with the wagon, and Bonnie speaks up and she says, "I'm not staying with the wagon. I have my business. I am almost entirely sure I can catch at least one of them. So expect an extra traveler with us, a little bit hog-tied and bound in the back, but just expect one. I need to come out of this with some kind of benefit."
All right, do what you gotta do.
Well, if Vincent and I go in first, Lidara and Renee can stay back on the wagon, and then we can find a way to communicate with him if we need backup, because
I can communicate for sure.
I don't think that it's a good idea to leave just one person, and...
I agree.
Okay.
Lidara, make a perception check for me.
21.
21. you're having this conversation. Azzurum, Vincent, Renair are sat in the back. Bonnie's focused on the road, keeping the horses at a steady pace. As you're having this conversation, your head's turned and you kind of look back over towards the plains. Off in the distance, there's like movement.
Great.
You're not sure what it is. Is it... First, you're like, what is that? What is that? The ground is moving.
No.
It's far off, but it's moving. And Azzurum, you feel
not now.
your whip. Tiny little tendrils of electricity just...
We're all having a nice ride.
There is something happening. There's something.
What are you talking about?
There's something moving
I look
in the
back.
ground.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh, this is
How fast is the wagon going?
Candies,
as
horses.
fast as
go
we need to go.
faster.
She whips the horses and they start right straight down this road as fast as possible. As soon as that stomping happens, you see that movement get much faster.
No. Oh shit.
No, we should stop.
Burrowing.
We should stop. We
What?
should-
Why? What the fuck?
Azzurum,
We are not stopping.
We are
I'm so
not
sorry,
stopping.
sir. I've heard rumor of this thing. I am not facing it today. That is not what I signed up for.
No, we need to fight it. We need
Why?
to just
Literally
wait.
why?
First of all, because I think that it's coming towards us more because we're going faster. It can
We can
literally.
outpace it. I'm sure.
I'm sure we
what-
can't.
That's what the doc said. He did it before. We can do it now.
why do you want to fight this thing so bad? Why don't?
I just feel like that we should.
But why?
This seems like a very irrational move. I mean, didn't Doc say that thing tears cattle apart
Yes.
like nothing?
We were
I'm smaller than cattle.
The whole goal of the wagon was to get away from it and not have to walk through it and then die. Are you trying to die today, Azzurum?
You know, honestly, maybe.
Oh my god. Do you need to
Then you
talk?
can
Are
hop
you
off this
okay?
wagon yourself.
And then maybe I will.
No,
Azzurum gets up.
Azzurum leaps from the back of the wagon.
God.
Make an acrobatics check first. As you
These
try to
horses
make
are-
this exit as the wagon is going very fast at this point.
We're at top
Acrobatics.
speed.
Lidara
Acrobatics.
jumps after him.
Make an
12.
acrobatics check.
You
You hit the ground. You don't land perfectly. You stumble. You roll, but you don't take. You take like half of this, which is 2 points of damage.
18 plus
Skidding
8.
across the floor. What was that?
18 plus 8.
18 plus 8. Lidara jumps off after you, lands perfectly, despite the inertia of being pulled by the wagon. No, you jump off the side, and Bonnie is like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
I'm gonna be like, stop the wagon, stop the wagon.
Make a make a persuasion check. Yeah, make a persuasion check. Bonnie did not sign up for this.
I know.
But also,
I can't wait.
Natural 20 plus 12, 22 or 32.
she rears back, says, "Whoa," and says, as the horses neigh backwards, being stopped suddenly, allowing you. Renair hops off. He says, "I suppose we're going." What?
I guess so. These fucking idiots are gonna get me killed. I'm gonna get out of the.
Maybe we should.
Car.
Are you guys near me? Sorry.
I'm probably a little far away because
I'm
You're a
going
little bit
fast.
farther. You're a little bit farther. I'd say
I'm gonna
you're
run up
like
to you as fast
probably
as I
like
can.
20, 30 feet away. It's not
Okay.
super far. Bonnie stopped the wagon. She says, "There's no point in going alone," she says as she pulls her guns and hops off the side and begins making her way back as that thing, that displacement of Earth is
Are we really fighting this right now?
tunneling and tunneling and tunneling through the ground. "I suppose we are," Renair says, pulling his rapier and just sort of like get readying himself.
Lidara comes up to you. Azzurum, what in the actual hell is wrong with you? Why did you jump off the wagon?
I think we should just fight it. I think that we're already off the wagon. We can talk about this later.
So now we're suddenly making irrational decisions that can
Get your weapons ready!
From out of the ground, at least 50 feet away, you see firing out of the earth into the sky a massive creature.
Azzurum.
Azzurum, I'm gonna
A
like fucking
horrid, enormous beast nearly blocks the sun. with a thick-shelled hide and powerful jaw giving way to jagged edges like that of a snapping turtle. This thing is massive, bigger than your wagon. Dripping off of it and flowing behind it is what you can only describe as liquid shadow that swirl in unnatural patterns. The eyes are black and beady, and they focus down on you as this creature tears out of the earth and then lands a huge displacement of dirt that sends all of you like flying backwards as you all turn to face this. I'm gonna need everyone here to roll initiative.
Oh my god, I
Oh
can't believe
boy.
this.
Wow, amazing.
You can't even tell us why you need to do this. 15.
Rainier, very good. Yeah, 15, Lidara?
Mm-hmm.
Azzurum,
13.
13. Vincent?
6.
And auto here. Top of the round
Vincent's in the back.
is Bonnie. Bonnie is farther away. She didn't get knocked back by this thing. Bonnie's immediate thought is to blast this thing and hope it sticks. She is going to fire and is going to... I think she only gets... Oh, she gets 3 shots, actually. 17 plus... Definitely hits. 15 doesn't hit. So 2 of those hit, and she's going to turn one of those into a trick shot. And is going... That thing needs to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone before I roll any damage as she attempts to wing it. Ba-doom. That's a fail. This thing, as it stands on its feet and is ready, Bonnie whips her gun out, blasts one of its legs, and causes it to fall forward. It is prone. Bonnie is then going to do her damage, which is d10s with the exploding if she hits. 10, which means the dice explodes.
Nice!
10, which means the dice explodes. Holy shit! So 20 currently. 24 plus 4 for 28 points of damage on the first attack. And 9 points of damage, so she does 33 points of damage to this thing right off the bat as she blasts this thing. Bonnie says, "Y'all better kill this thing and not let it kill me." As she heads forward, that brings us to Rainier, who's going to... I guess I'm going forward. Hard to follow that up. And is going to run forward. First attack hits. Second attack just hits. Rainier is going to go ahead and use his ability to put a first level Divine Smite into this. As he goes forward, and with the power of Rainier's goodness, comes forward with the rapier and strikes, which is 3d8 plus 20 points of damage to this thing from the first attack. And the second attack is, wow, my god, the fucking NPC rolls. 12 points of damage. As they are tearing into this thing, trying to get things ready. That brings us to this thing. This creature... No, at the end of Rainier's turn, this creature is going to use a legendary action. And is going to use 2 of them to use an abyssal grasp. As the only person next to it currently is... I think it's Rainier currently. Rainier needs to make a strength check versus Rainier. Rainier's strength is 12 versus the creature's strength, which is 21. Rainier is grasped by inky tendrils that blast out from the shadows on the creature. And he's, oh no. He immediately takes a good amount of damage.
Oh my god.
19 points of damage to Rainier. Necrotic damage as he's... Oh, this hurts a lot! That's that turn. Now the creature's actual turn comes up as it pulls Rainier forward and is going to attempt to bite Azzurum. It's going to attempt to bite you, Azzurum.
Is it right up on us now?
It's coming right up on... Yeah, it's right up on you all now, basically. I'd say I'm going to roll to see who's out of range of it. Bonnie's out of range, and Vincent, you're out of range. But Lidara and Azzurum are up close, because Lidara came up to Azzurum to talk to him. That is a 24 to hit.
It's
Gonna take a good amount of damage.
This is a bad idea.
Oh boy. 34 points of damage from the bite.
God.
As the creature, this massive jaw comes and clamps onto you. You have to push and fight yourself free. You can feel the jagged edges tearing at you. That is that creature's turn. That brings us to Lidara. You see this creature chomp onto Azzurum.
You know, honestly, you kind of fucking deserve that, but, anyways, okay. Pulls out.
Now's not the time! As Renair's being swung around by these tendrils.
Poison arrow.
Poison arrow, make your shot. It's gonna make a con save.
Bitch.
Oh, even with its con, 4+, note that fails. So it's gonna take the full damage, and you do have sneak attack if you hit.
It's a 14.
14 does not hit, unfortunately. As you take the poison arrow, you lock it into your bow and splinters off the hard shell of the creature. Any movement that you're taking, bonus action, disengage.
She's going to run back.
Bonus action, disengage.
Yeah. To try to get as far away from him.
You're able to get as far as you can to give you some space. It's just Azzurum, and then Vincent's the second closest. Renair's on it, basically. Lidara's far away, and then Bonnie's on the other side. That brings us then to Azzurum. You pull away from this creature. You feel the pain of the surging jagged edges, but you also feel that static coursing through your whip. What is your move?
I'm like, son of a bitch, and I crack my whip on the ground and I cast Witch Bolt at it, trying to kind of aim for whatever's holding Renair so that it can like let go of him.
This is a ranged spell attack, so it technically has disadvantage. Do you want to try and back up? It'll get an attack on you, but you won't have disadvantage. Wait.
No, I don't want it to attack me.
Gotcha. All right, make your attack with disadvantage, if you will. After this,
16 to hit.
Vincent, you're on deck. On this creature does not hit, unfortunately.
Son of a bitch!
The witch bolt tears across the dirt as the creature swings at you, and you just have to dodge out of the way in order to prevent another massive attack. This creature is going to use the last legendary action that it has for this round to make a movement without a reaction. So it just, without opportunity attack, so it just kind of backs up with Renair as it's being pulled. Okay, it's not good. Vincent, that's you.
Okay, so what has got Renair in the clutches? Is it a...
It's a tendril of shadow that just seems to form off of the body like sweat, almost, just like dripping from its pores.
Oh, boy. I am going to take my rapier out. I'm going to rush up to it, and I'm going to take a stab at it close to where that tendril's connected.
Make your attack. The DC is higher because it's a called shot, quote unquote.
Yeah. 19.
19 hits. It doesn't hit the tendril. 19 hits. Though.
Okay, that's...
So you still do your damage.
Then I'm gonna psychic boost to that. Wait. Actually, it's 18.
18 still hits.
Okay, good.
Just hits.
Okay. 24 points of damage.
24 points of damage. Damn, crazy.
Oh, as a bonus action,
Mm-hmm.
can I use Mass Healing Word at third level?
You absolutely can. Go ahead and roll your dice.
1 plus 4, 5.
5 points of healing to everyone?
For everyone who is in 60 feet of me.
That is everyone. So everyone gets 5 points of healing.
At least something.
Which is good.
Yay!
Back at the top of the round, that's Bonnie. Bonnie's going to fire 2 shots and also try to get it to drop Renair by shooting that tendril. So we'll take natural 20 for a 29, which definitely hits. The other one doesn't hit. Bonnie's going to go ahead and... Oh, you know what? Bonnie's going to make the first shot another winging shot. Yeah, winging shot. To try and get it to get knocked down. It doesn't get knocked down, but she still does that damage. So we're going to go ahead and hope she does a lot.
You got this. Light them up.
13 points of damage. Not bad. Oh, she gets to make one more. The other one hits 2, 13, 10. So that's exploding dice. 12 plus 4, 16. 29 points of damage in totality. As Bonnie is unloading shot after shot after shot, she's going to have to reload next turn. She blasts out, and a shot pierces the tendril. Renair falls to the ground.
I'll try to catch him before he falls down so he doesn't go prone.
Make a dex save.
Would that be like a reaction? Or
Yeah, that's your. We'll say this is a reaction to catch Renair.
11.
You dive. You go to catch Renair. He definitely lands on you. You don't really catch him,
It's fine.
but you do
Whatever.
tumbled into. It's a heavy. He's got a lot of mass
That's
on him. Renair hits the ground. He says, "Okay, good luck, you three."
You'll be fine. You're fine.
He's gonna use his action to cast Bless on you three again. He says, I'm getting up. I'm okay. That's Renair's turn. That's this thing's turn. This thing, you see its trajectory change as it turns its head upward, and you see it launch itself. Its powerful legs push into the plains, launching itself high up in the air as it goes straight up. It comes straight down. I am going to need Azzurum, Vincent, and Renair, because you're far enough away, from this not to hit, to make either strength or dexterity saving throws. It's your choice.
Dexterity, please.
Renair's also going to make dex.
22.
22.
I also have advantage on saving throws.
Renair fails,
No!
unfortunately. Advantage on saving throws. Go ahead. 22 succeeds.
22. If it succeeds, it's
4.
Fails. You're going to take half of this.
Oh my god. Why do we do this? Azzurum?
It's a good character choice.
Yeah, it
is
is
why.
a very good character
Turn
choice.
back up from here. 34 have to 17.
Well, I take 34.
You take 34.
How are Renair and Azzurum looking?
Renair's not doing too great, but he's also not like... Okay, well, he's not doing great. 28 points of bludgeoning damage, halved to 14.
An extra?
An extra, yeah. It's both slashing damage and bludgeoning damage.
Good grief.
Azzurum
We're
goes
taking-
unconscious.
Azzurum gets
We are
knocked
oh my God.
backwards. He goes flying, tumbles into the dirt. What the hell? As Azzurum goes flying, Renair looks and says, oh boy, this is not going well. You are not knocked prone. You are pushed 5 feet back as the creature rears up and roars outward angrily, running its jaws. Lidara, it's your move.
God damn it, Azzurum. Okay. Everyone, it's fine. Everyone, it's fine. No worries. Lidara's here. Okay.
No worries.
Cool. I can't shove a potion down his damn throat.
You could try.
Okay.
There's a mental conflict happening as you're like, Azurum's body's over there, but the creature's over there.
She's gonna shoot at him.
Take your shot. You
Not
can give yourself
Azzurum.
advantage,
She would like to shoot at Azzurum,
but you won't.
but she won't.
You can take it with advantage, steady aim. There's a bonus
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Take a shot.
Yep. 19 plus 8.
Hits.
Come on.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and make your shot. You have, is there a regular, a poisoner? What's going on?
Poison.
Poison.
Naturally.
This is 66 plus 2d10.
Come on. Roll high.
21 plus 4.
It's 25.
25 plus
For that.
2d10.
Plus 2d10. This thing's looking hurt. It is looking hurt. It's taking some beatings, especially with Bonnie there blasting it.
Getting it.
15 on the d10s. So
15 on
there are
D10.
40 points of damage in total.
Blast out with the poison, seeps into it, but it's able to push through it. Azzurum, I need you to roll a death saving throw.
Come on, roll high. Come on, roll high.
As you're losing consciousness as your head is ringing.
19.
19, you are holding on as there is a massive amount of blood pouring out of you. That brings us to Vincent.
I'm gonna see him do that. Get knocked the fuck out, and I'm gonna go, ah, shit!
You did
how-
get pushed far away, so you're not next to the creature. So you could...
Fantastic.
So that pushed both you and Renair far enough away that you won't get an opportunity to attack.
Okay, I am going to run over to Azzurum, and I'm gonna slap you with a Cure Wounds at 4th level, because why not? Oh shit. So 26 points of healing for you, my guy.
Yay.
26 points of healing.
I kind of
Fantastic.
slap you, like it's a little too hard.
You come back awake, feeling the jolt of energy pushed into you. Azzurum, you wake up and you hear the roaring of the beast.
And can I move back to where Renair is, or is that a little too far?
I think you can get between the two, sure.
Cool.
You're running back towards Renair currently.
I'm gonna give him some bardic inspiration by just yelling at him. Go get him! I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm really bad at the bardic
Sure.
inspiration thing.
Gotcha.
Oh, notoriously bad at that.
Top of... That's Bonnie. It sees this thing turning for you two, Renaer and Vincent, as it's readying itself to chomp down, and thus Bonnie is gonna try to make some moves here.
Come on, girl.
And take a shot. Take a couple shots. She can take 2 and then reload one of her guns, so it'll just be 2 this round. Natural 4 doesn't hit. This one does hit, though, as she shoots this thing. God damn, 10. 4, 14 plus 4, 18. 18 points of damage as she gets another shot into this thing. This thing is looking really hurt. It also looks like it wants to get out of here. Brings us to Renaer. Renaer's really low, so Renaer is going to quickly strengthen his resolve, and that means he's casting Cure Wounds on himself at a good old 3rd level. This is not going well. 11, 13, he says, I've got this. I got this. Okay, that's a good amount, 15. As this is happening, this creature uses legendary action and tries to grab Renaer and Vincent. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, I'm not
Renaer's
good at
also going to make a
that.
strength saving throw.
Strength, just check.
Strength check. Athletics, technically.
12, but I'm gonna use a luck point.
I'll tell you now, you don't need to, because you passed because this creature rolled a 3 plus 8,
Oh, thank
but
God.
Renaer rolled a 9 plus 0 as the creature grabs him.
Not again.
Um,
I'm gonna die.
Actually,
I'm gonna die.
and is holding on to Renaer. Does
We shouldn't have brought
for
her there.
9 points of damage to Renaer as he says, oh, okay, back in this again, I suppose. As he's reaching out his hand, he says, okay. That's its turn. Lidara, that's you.
Cool. Okay, well, this thing worked for me last time. Everyone else is using them.
Oh my fucking God.
You're pulling it. You're like, I'm taking a page out of Bonnie's book.
Yeah, I mean, she looks kind of cool when she does it, so.
Make your shot.
Sure.
That's plus 4.
17 plus 4, which
17
is
plus
21.
4 is a 21. That hits.
Plus
Go ahead and fire your shot, which is its sneak attack. So it's 1d10. Roll the d10 first to see if you explode.
Do I explode?
Come on.
If you get that
Come
10.
on, 10.
No, that's okay. Then roll 5d6.
All of a sudden, she thinks she's a gunslinger.
You're all right.
She's a cowboy.
She's, trying to fit in with
This go
the...
around.
15.
8 plus 15, 23. Right? 23 points of damage as the bullet fires and cracks into the side of this creature. This creature's real hurt. Because of that, it's using its legendary action to burrow.
I'm gonna
The
die.
creature cries out with this gurgling roar, and then its maw basically sharpens and then pierces into the ground as Renaer goes "Ah!" into this tunnel. Azzurum, that's you. What are you doing? You just saw this creature disappear under the ground with Renaer.
So I
It's
can't.
this massive tunnel. You can follow. It's a massive tunnel that it's leaving behind. But it is going.
No!
It looked real hurt.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Kill it! Kill it! Kill it! Kill it!
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking. I guess I'm gonna go after it. I guess
You hear this?
I'm like, oh shit, and I run down.
You run down into this massive opening, now almost like its own cavern of dirt that this creature has left behind. As you go running, you can just see the back of this creature as it is moving incredibly fast through these tunnels it's creating.
I'm gonna try to cast Witch Bolt at him again.
Make your shot. Straight roll.
Come on, baby.
With a d4. Everyone's been forgetting you can add a d4 to this.
Okay, where's this one?
Without the D4, it's a 23 to hit.
Still hits. Go for it.
Thank
Roll
God.
your damage. That's
Come
5th
on.
level Witch Bolt.
Holy shit.
Roll that damage as that creature is pulling Renaer away at an incredible pace.
Roll that damage!
18 points of lightning damage.
How do you want to do this?
Yes.
Creature's on the brink.
I'm like, God damn it! And I just snap my whip.
You crack the whip down this cavern and you see the dirt alight as electricity clatters down, the silver lightning that pulses through the tunnel. And Renaer is looking back and says, Azzurum! As he lightning crashes into the creature, and the creature itself just... You see it emerge from the dirt as it cries out in pain, its head piercing through, halfway in the dirt, halfway buried as it collapses.
Oh my
And
god!
you feel the static from your whip leave, and that tension settle. As everyone takes a deep breath, Renair falls to the ground as he's
Vincent starts running towards
Yeah,
him.
Lidara
running.
runs in.
He's limping back. He's like, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Running up to him.
God.
Thanks, Azzurum.
Thank God.
Azzurum
Holy
climbs out of the
shit.
hole.
Are you happy with yourself?
Holy shit.
Are you content?
As everyone is gathering at the entrance of this cavern, Bonnie's just like, no. What the hell was that? Was that part of this? Was that something that I was uninformed that we were gonna kill that thing? I'm glad it's gone, but
That was not part of the plan. Azzurum, would you like to explain yourself? Maybe, to the party here.
While they're doing that, I'm healing Renair with the cure wounds.
thank you.
You know,
Okay.
honestly,
9.
let's just not talk about this right now. Let's just go finish out our
Right.
mission.
Literally, you almost died, and you just want to
And I'm
rush past
fine.
it?
And we're fine. It's gone. Now we don't have to worry about it.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Azzurum just walks back to the wagon.
Lidara is so angry.
Azzurum walks back. You begin walking back towards, but the emergence of a giant beast and the crashing of earth is quite scary to horses who are further down the road, seeming to get farther. As Bonnie says, God damn it. Alright, let's see if we can go get him back, but unless y'all want to rest.
Can I use Longstrider on myself
Yeah, you absolutely. I'm
and try to
pretty sure you
catch
can.
up with him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit.
Long Strider. Make an athletics check.
That's 3.
Oh.
It's real tiring to chase after horses, and it takes you quite a while. I'm gonna say it takes you around like 30 minutes of straight running. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw for me,
Oh no.
as you are just charging through, trying to catch up to horses that are pretty scared.
12.
You don't incur a point of exhaustion, because as you get the horses to slow down, eventually you wheel the wagon back around using what you've learned just from watching Bonnie and bring it back towards the group who is currently hoofing it. In the meantime, while this is happening, Steven says, "Are you alright? Is everything okay?"
Are you okay?
He says, "Are you alright?" And you can see that he's like big bruises, some dry blood on his shirt, and hairs all everywhere. He's like, "I'm fine."
Okay, no. Here, let's sit for a moment.
Okay. Azzurum, you've kind of gone walking forward on, I suppose, are you staying put with the group?
I would probably walk off and then eventually just lay down. And while waiting for Lidara to get back, I would probably try resting.
You slide back and look up at the sky. You're blue, the sun getting closer and closer to the end of the day. And just take a deep breath. Feel the weight off of your chest. Contract fulfilled, though not in the cleanest fashion. Renair sits with you as you bandage up his wounds a little bit. He's, oh, that's much.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine. You're fine. Bonnie, hands on hips, is just kind of rubbing her temples and is just like, okay, all right, it's okay. That's done. There's no more surprises. We're good.
Don't jinx it.
Hmm?
Don't jinx it.
Right. Eventually, Lidara is fairly well piloting these horses steadily. Comes trotting down the main road there. Pulls up next to Azzurum, who is still lying down, staring straight up at the sky. You look up and you see Lidara looking down at you.
She just rolls her eyes and gets in the wagon.
Yep. You push over to your passenger seat. Bonnie says, "All right, we can finish resting up in the cart."
Yeah,
But-
I don't think it's a good idea for us to face anyone after that for a while.
Oh, I think let's see how we feel towards the end of this ride. Azzurum, Renair extends a hand out towards you.
Azzurum gets up without grabbing it.
Vincent rolls his eyes.
Closes his fists, and then kind of gets onto the back. sits down kind of awkwardly next to you because you're welcome back. And Vincent joins as you all take off. Hello, this is Christian, the Dungeon Master for the Strings of Fate. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and if you are, be sure to go on your twitters.coms and use the hashtag SOFPOD, SOFPOD. Tweeting about the show there allows us to see it, and I go through that hashtag pretty much every day to find people that I want to use for their names. What? That didn't come out correctly, but I want to use their names as NPCs. So we're going to go with that. I don't want to steal your name. Further on from that, we wanted to take a minute in this break to talk about our friend Olivia at Dungeon Depths. Though they are not sponsoring this show, they have supplied us with beautiful, amazing dice. The D20s that we're rolling in this episode, along with all of Chris's dice for Vincent, are from them. They are absolutely beautiful, handcrafted. You can check them out at Dungeon Depths, DungeonDepths. So that's at Dungeon Depths on Twitter and Instagram. They have an amazing shop with handmade dice that are beautiful. I'm looking at them right now. There are some very amazing pieces like the Dwarven Gold set, the Champagne set, Frost Shore, Mythbrinder. What a rad name. But more so than dice, they also have awesome apparel. I see like a Dungeon Master's cap here that I might pick up. So take some time to check them out if you're really looking for some cool stuff. A quick word on captioning. We're actually working to finish up the captions on the first episode and get into the captions for this episode. We have a very small team of close friends working on that, but we still want to thank them for what they're doing. So 2 of our mods have stepped up, Dea and Dragonfruit. So thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. I dived into those captions. It's a lot. Other than that, I think we're finished up with all the announcements and stuff. So we're going to get back to the show. Thank you again for listening. And if you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll answer you. Nope, just see me after class. Anyways, bye. The rest of the journey is awkwardly silent, and there's a bit of a tense atmosphere that hangs as the party is a bit beaten up and dirt covered from that encounter. The wagon making its way. Bonnie's the first one to break the silence as she says, I never got to really ask you folk, what is it that you're traveling along the Golden Route for?
The blue guy in the back.
She turns a little bit towards you and says, and Mr.
Azzurum.
Well then, Mr. Azzurum, what is your purpose then for traveling this long road?
You know, honestly, I'm trying to figure that out myself. But I'm looking for someone.
Is that right? Is this how should I put this? A romantic story or more of a
Lidara laughs. Lidara both laugh. I wish.
Judging by that reaction, I suppose it's the other one.
It's more of a tragedy, I guess.
Gotcha.
He's got a main character complex now.
You'll find
Azzurum's like huffs and turns over. I'm not sure why I have to give strangers my entire backstory, but
you don't. I'm just making conversation on the road.
Make conversation with Lidara instead.
Alright, touchy.
She bites her tongue before saying anything else. Turns over to you, Lidara, and says, and y'all are just following this individual?
Well, I mean, we weren't like following. We were more like a group, like friends.
Unfortunately.
For now, I guess.
Well, even though it looks like things are a bit rough here, it's a long road. It's hard to travel alone. Trust me, I know. Even if your travel companions are otherwise stubborn. She says, leaning in.
Well, honestly, I'm more used to being alone than with people, so it's more of a challenge than you'd think.
I relate to that, she says. Azzurum, you turn over in the back kind of turned away, looking out the back as the sun is setting to an orangish hue, the darkness now taking the plains. And you find your hand moving to a stone that you have nice and placed around your neck. And you feel that rune kind of buzzing, humming with a small arcane energy as you try and take yourself out of this moment to a better moment. It's the night before you're going to leave Siniath. It's been kind of a tough realization and decision of, are you staying or are you going? The offer was given to you several times of, there's a place for you here and he always needs help. But eventually it came to that where you realized you can't stay in the city forever, and there's a strong wind blowing east. And you spend that last night in that familiar room in the yawning portal on that second floor, just curled up into DeVille's form as he moves his hand through your hair. And he says, you know what I always loved? I love how your hair, it's so cool to the touch. It looks as though there's air passing through it at all times, as if the wind's blowing, and that's amazing. It's something that caught my eye the first time I met you. But it's almost refreshing to run my hands through. He says, I'm going to really miss that.
Yeah, me too.
We both agreed there's no more crying over this. I feel like we're both out of tears at this point.
I'm gonna miss you is all, and I've never really cared about someone like this, and I don't really know what happens whenever you're separated. I've never been separated from someone I love like this.
He takes a deep breath. It's hard. It's very hard. And it's almost, for me, I feel it's almost beautiful because I didn't know I would ever experience that feeling again. But here I am. I have something for you, he says. He gets out of the bed and he kind of makes his way over to his satchel and he pulls out a small case. He says, it took me a while to find somebody who could do some kind of something special, I suppose. He makes his way over to the bed and he opens the case, and from it he pulls two of these gem-like necklaces with leather cord, just like this stone with a gem set into it, and this strange pattern that's beautiful to look at etched in the center. And he says, this one's for you, and this one's for me.
What is it?
It's it's so we're never far apart, at least so I can pretend we're not too far apart, he says. When you want to hear from me, just focus on this. And I promise I'll be there.
You'll always be there?
He thinks for a moment. Always is a difficult word. And and making promises is something a fool's game. But I'm a difficult person, and I'm a fool.
I think I'm a fool too.
He places the necklace around your neck. He leans in. and kisses you. And we pull back out to see you looking along that road, holding that necklace, just kind of absent-mindedly dragging your thumb across the jagged edges of the gem and feeling that beautiful pattern. And the emotional difficulty of the past few weeks setting in with your wounds. You take a deep breath. The journey passes without a hitch. No more monsters, no more bandits. There's a silence that sets over the cart as the tension and the harsh emotions of danger fade, and you're all left with that feeling of, I'm okay. And I don't absolutely hate the people I'm with. But it is that feeling of, I don't hate these people, but also, am I going to be the first one to say something? As you all sit in silence, Bonnie just keeping her eyes on the road. Renaer, in a bit of deep thought himself, kind of leaning his head onto Vincent.
Anybody want to hear a song?
What kind of song?
Anything.
Sure.
Requests?
Something light.
Alright. And I'll take out my violin. And I'll play a nice, sweet song that's mild and slow.
Vincent, you begin to play a song on your trusty violin as you clamber along this path in this wagon. The sky turns from that bright blue to that orange, and then eventually, with this travel taking a little bit longer than you anticipated, you start to lose some of that light, but where the sun is far from, you can see the stars, and they're beautiful, especially in a place like this, far from magical lights and, people, honestly. It's a sight that you've all been able to appreciate over the past 2 weeks. And you played this song up until Bonnie sort of raises a hand and says, "It's a beautiful song, but I think we're coming up upon something." So,
I'll stop.
it comes to a halt as you all clamber down this path, and Bonnie steers the horses off to the side into what looks to be the beginning of a forest outcropping. She brings them to a quick halt and then makes a motion and says, "Okay. If you're talking about them being at Hannigan's Bluff, we are right within the outcropping. On the other edge of this forest, that's the cliffside. So, I'm going to ask again, and I'm going to tack on an extra question here. 1, can I count on you all to not get each other and me killed? And 2, what's the plan? It's not fully night yet, and you left a little later than intended. It's still getting to, and you're still kind of in the early spring, almost end of winter. So things are just getting darker, but you're approaching it. you're certainly approaching it.
What is the plan?
We should see if we can get a little bit closer on foot to see if we can get a better idea of what we're about to walk into.
Alright.
Do you want me to?
You're the closest to someone who can be invisible, so.
I can basically be invisible.
Especially
so
now it's getting darker.
I can try to go up. You guys stay here, and I won't
in
make
contact.
contact or anything.
I'll message.
Okay.
Alright.
And to your first question, I would hope that we're all gonna try to keep each other safe, no matter
try.
what.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
We all trust each other, and we trust you
Yeah.
for the most part.
It's usually pretty safe not to trust someone you met the same day.
Oh, trust me, I'm aware.
Fair enough. She smiles. Renera looks and says, I haven't been on my best, but I'll try better.
You're doing just fine.
Thank you. There's a bit of nervousness in his voice. Lidara, you're making the first move over?
Yes, I'm gonna have her pull up her hood, all black, like
Love it.
like the darkest shade of black.
I'm taking
possible.
notes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And she is just gonna try to become as invisible as possible and try to get as close to anything in that vicinity to try to see what's going on, see if she can get as much information as possible.
Sure. Go ahead and make a stealth check. First, make a survival check, though, I will say. This is to how long it will take you to, like, kind of find your way through.
Okay.
I would like to stay within 120 feet of her if I can.
To fall behind?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Natural 20 plus 6 on survival.
Natural 20 plus 6. With a natural 20, you absolutely pick up tracks of this gang. They're not super good at hiding their tracks. Alongside that, I will also tell you that as you make your way through, you find a number of traps that have been set in the woods. Bear traps, trip wires that are meant to like produce a lot of sound. Like you see some that are set up that like once you trip it, drops a bunch of rattling cans to the ground. Pretty rudimentary. But also, if you trigger them, not really much of a chance of you getting up there unseen. With a survival, I would say that you can, with a natural 20, you can clear the path of these traps, as well as, if you'd like, you can hold on to the bear traps.
Sure.
You disarmed. Get 3 bear traps that you can just hold on to for a little bit. But you make your way through this windy forest. The canopy is thick, making the darkness of evening even darker. And eventually, you hear the sounds of hootin' and hollerin', of camp ruckus, basically. And you can see a campfire beginning to start over at the edge of the forest. And towards that edge, it is right along the cliffside of Hannigan's Bluff. You can see that this cliffside is an overhang that overlooks the Golden Route. You can see like a long road that pushes forward. Make a perception check for me.
29.
Beautiful viewing point. You can see quite a bit. You can see the horizon where the forest and grassland interchange, and you can see just off in the distance what looks to be like a large river, like way off. 29 perception, that's no joke. But more pressing, you turn your attention to the camp. On the outer edge of camp, there's a hitching post with a lot of horses that are all in this one area. The entire camp itself is quite cluttered with things. It looks like supplies, crates, barrels, sort of thing. There's a much larger tent that's kind of behind the campfire. It's almost like a circular formation with a couple tents scattered out on the outer edges. And the campfire in the center is where most of the people are. You can see a couple patrols that are making their way around the edges that you're able to avoid. But in the center, you can see there's a few kegs of beer that they may have recently gotten that they're celebrating and drinking from. Taking note of the surrounding environment, the trees hang over this place pretty well. You notice a couple branches where you can get a good vantage point if you wanted to. And other than that, this camp isn't anything super special. But there is quite a bit of these bandits.
You said there's like a few of them having a campfire kind of close to the outskirts of like the whole...
The outskirts of this forest, it ends at this cliff, basically, that overlooks the rest of this place.
Okay.
And in the center of this camp that they have set, which is like kind of on this edge of this cliff, close to it, there is a big gathering of them, kind of celebrating over these kegs.
Is there any way I can try to get close to maybe a few that would be like hanging kind of like farther away from a large crowd to kind of like overhear some conversation?
Sure, make a stealth check. You have advantage on those with your boots.
30.
Rogues. You are a shadow in the woods along with Mask of the Wild. You blend perfectly into the environment around them. There's zero way that anyone in this camp would even know that they're being observed. Vincent, you've lost Lidara.
Yeah.
Make a stealth check. You're not close enough to where you'd put yourself in danger, of course, but, you know.
6.
You're at this point, and you're making your way through, and you can hear yourself. You step on a twig, and you're like, if I get any closer to where Lidara is going, I'm going to fuck this up. And so you have to make the conscious decision if you're going to continue forward or if you're going to head back.
She's gonna be just fine, and I head back.
Vincent makes his way back.
I'm like, she's fine. She'll be good.
Lidara, you stalk through the woods around these people. You see 2 of them are on patrol a little further from the camp, making their way around. You see them kind of converge and start talking and saying like, God damn, I wish I was back at the fucking camp. Do we really think anyone's going to be following us out here in the woods? I mean, we killed the sheriff, ran him out of town. Do you really think that they're just going to come waltzing in here hunting after us? And the other one says, oh, you fool. Listen, this is just part of the duties, all right? You're going to get your share of ale, all right? Can you stop thinking of yourself for maybe, 5 seconds and just walk around the damn perimeter? I don't know why you came up to me thinking I'd sympathize with you on this. I honestly could not give less of a shit of what you're thinking.
Oh my god.
And he says, shit, I was just making conversation, man. He says, go make it somewhere else.
Oh, Lida's gonna get angry. She's like, why are you being so mean to this dude?
The guy starts walking off. He says, pray? God. This guy's on his own. He's patrolling around. That was a little harsh. Yeah, it was harsh.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
I'm imagining Lidara's behind the rock, and he's just like talking to himself, and she's like, "Yeah, that was really rough." And they're like talking to each other without knowing it.
I should apologize to him later.
Yeah, don't be a fucking dick.
I'm doing my job. And he says as he makes his way back around the perimeter. Make another perception check as you're kind of looking for people to eavesdrop on.
Okay, 15.
You are still stalking around. You hear another conversation started not too far away, so you kind of creep over towards that area and you hear, I was just talking to Riley, and what is that dude's problem? I mean, honestly. And the other one's like, listen, you can't take what Riley says. Riley's unlikable. But that's not his fault. He just doesn't. Yeah. He's new. He really wants to make a good impression on Denton. He wants to get back to the fort. You know, we all do. Listen, I want to get back to the fort. We all do. But we all will have a chance to get back to the fort once we rob this stagecoach coming from Weldon. All right? That's once we got what's in there, we're gonna be thriving in the fort. All I'm saying is, in the meantime, maybe like throw me a bone. Just like if you want to make friends, like you have to communicate. Like you can't just push me away. You have to. He's got to start doing some of the work because I'm putting myself out there, and I get you.
Dude, I get it.
Other than that, that's what you really hear going on in the camp.
Can I see if there's like anyone who seems to look like a leader, like the dude? Like...
Sure. Make an insight check.
Okay. This is what she's made for.
And this
bitch.
is why we sent her in.
Okay, maybe not.
Oh, well.
That's okay.
This is 13.
13 is, these are not a nuanced bunch of, well, actually, they kind of are, apparently, with that conversation. But you listen around the camp a little bit more, keeping an eye out from, like, a vantage point, and you eventually see someone emerge from that larger tent, and you see the rest of them kind of just go, woo, woo, yeah, as they're just, like, cheering this guy on, and he's like, all right, man. How we doing? And everyone's like, good, yeah, hell yeah.
I really hate men.
And it's like, yeah, alright, that's good to hear. Glad morale's up. Good job on these kegs here. And one of the guys says, thank you, boss. Now listen here, we've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow, alright? That stagecoach, once it comes through that road, descend right on it. That brings us to the fort, boys. Everyone's like, woo, woo.
fucking hate.
And girls, he points over towards a few that are sitting, and they go, woo. And those that don't conform, and then points over to a couple, and they're like, yeah.
Wow,
he says,
inclusive.
all right. Now, but for now, we got a big operation tomorrow with a lot riding on it, so let's get shit-faced drunk tonight! As he cracks open a keg with the butt of what looks to be some kind of rifle. Just splits this keg open. People are pouring their drinks from it. You get a good sense that's probably the boss.
Non-binary cowboys, that's it.
In the brief moments that tent is open, you can see that a lot of the spoils are, like, you just see glittering gems and gold, like, inside. Like, anything that looks valuable, anything that looks interesting, probably in that larger tent, which is in the middle of the camp near the campfire, not impossible to get to. It's kind of on the edge-ish of this cliff, too. But that's all the information gathered. You want to circle back?
We're just waiting
Lidara,
patiently.
can she get into the tent?
She can certainly try. There's a perimeter like this perimeter. It gets a little bit difficult as you're there's a moment that you're looking and you see it. And you're thinking of all the possibilities of what could happen. And your mind crosses on kind of the reckless maneuvers and how Azzurum's been acting recently. And you have a thought to yourself of,
I could just take it.
I can do this. Make a stealth check.
Meanwhile,
as you
we're like
start-
sitting, and I'm like, I'm gonna give her like
Don't you also
15
have,
minutes.
Like, cast out a trace?
You do, if you like to cast it.
I'm gonna cast past that trace.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm gonna give her 15 minutes. If we hear anything, we'll go in. But I think she's gonna be fine. You know, she wouldn't do anything too rash.
The closer you get, the more people there are. Like, this is now becoming you are sneaking through a camp full of people.
Yeah.
You're not disguised. So this one doesn't have advantage, just a straight roll. But it has plus 10 because you have passed without trace.
So 16 plus 12 plus 10.
Dara, you are a ghost making your way from barrel to barrel. It's literally those scenes of a camp guard walking past, like with a tankard of ale, and in the shadows where the camera wasn't focusing, like you just kind of appear and emerge, and you dart across, slinking along the grassland floor between each tent as you make your way. You get over, and you're sort of at the edge of where this campfire is, like behind a tent, peeking around to where everyone is gathered. And the entrance in the front is blocked by like a lot of people that are all together. And it's not impossible to get through. Sneaking might be difficult. Trying to blend your way in could work, but it's a tent, so it's open on both sides. The problem is the other side that it's open on is on a very narrow sliver that you need to maneuver around on the edge of the cliff.
Is there any like holes in the tent where I can try to just like see if there are people like inside?
You make a perception check. The tent is very like, it's not just like a loose tent, so it's kind of like if you start moving this thing, people are going to be, it's a little tight at the bottom, and so making your way in, you can try and dig, but it might take a while.
If she could try to slice some of it open and slither in.
Very true. Very true. Go ahead and make that perception check.
21.
21. You make a under. You listen against this kind of thick animal hide tent. You can hear that kind of booming voice, kind of signaling. You could probably look around to see this too. That boss is going like in and out of the tent basically. Like he's going around, making his rounds, going back to the tent to like look stuff over, coming back out. For the moment, he's kind of in between currently. It looks like he's speaking to someone at the entrance, and thus like the entrance flap is open. And you can tell that his back is to the tent, but there's someone in front of him, like speaking to him. As you peek under, you can see like their figures and forms, but there's no one else in the tent besides that.
Can I try to...
You certainly can. It's not, you don't have to roll for this, as it's just slicing a tent. Actually, let's do this silently. Sleight of hand.
Okay.
Just a regular sleight of hand roll, no plus 10 on this one.
That's a 7. Oh, where it counted. Can I like stop?
You stop as sort of, there's a moment of like, what is that? I'm going to introduce a mechanic that I really like and I use in all my games now. It's called a clock system. I really like this. There's 4 segments. This system is called the camp is alerted. Basically, every time you have a failure on a roll, one of these is ticked down. And by the time you fill up all of them, that's when it is. So it's not an immediate like, oh, here it goes. It's literally like each one ticks up that progress. You tear a little bit, you know you're tearing into it.
How many are there?
Currently, there's like 10 around the campfire, plus the boss and whoever he's talking to. So there's 12 in total nearby.
Okay.
You start tearing into this and you can tell you're making a little too much noise, so
Yeah.
you stop and you see the boss kind of stop talking for a second and then go back into his conversation. You can continue this route, but you'll have disadvantage as you continue to slice.
And would be another roll?
It'd be another roll with disadvantage, or you could retreat, try something else. It's up to you.
If I were to take the route of slithering,
Slithering,
like on the side that like...
that's acrobatics, kind of.
Okay, my acrobatics is pretty high, but do I want to fall off a cliff and die? Not really.
No, but also.
But also, I could alert like everyone just with my dagger.
Yeah. And if you fall off a cliff and die, we'll come find you.
I
and
do
you
have a rope
ride
of
the
climbing.
You do have a rope of climbing, which
Okay,
is,
okay.
yeah.
I have an idea. I'm gonna take the rope of climbing, head down to the cliff, but I'm gonna tie the rope. If there's anywhere that I can like kind of tie it, maybe like a branch or something, so that like I can just have it just in case, so that I can kind of keep steady while I
think the rope of climbing, what it does is it secures itself as if it's tied to something
cool.
steady, like even if it's midair.
Oh.
So you can, you
shoot.
can have it like secured in midair.
I would like to do that so that it can help me while I'm on this tight path to try and...
Sure, yeah, absolutely. This is still an acrobatic check, but you have advantage with the rope of climbing, and you have a fail-safe instead of just falling down into the
Nice.
off this cliff off of what you can only surmise is like a few hundred feet.
You said advantage, right?
With advantage. Use it with advantage. Yeah, I said with advantage.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
What'd you get?
What'd you get?
I rolled a 2 twice.
Oh my god.
Plus?
Plus 8.
A 10 is not an outright failure.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not great.
It's not a failure as to which you're falling off, but as you kind of go down, you're like, whoa, 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 and you kind of slide and a couple rocks tumble as you are over a couple hundred feet to the ground, which is just straight earth down there.
Holy shit, holy
And it's an overhang that's going like this, which means there's not much to grab onto down there.
Lidar's like, breathe.
A 10 is
breathe.
one more notch on the clock as you feel breathe. But you're in position. You still, with a 10, you still get to your position that you're going for to be able to climb up possibly towards there as you're able to maneuver.
Then I'm going to do that.
Okay. You pull yourself up. You see there's a moment where he's like overseeing, and then he turns back towards the tent, and kind of you duck down to get out of his sight, pull back up. He's looking at something. This other side of this tent is open to view like the landscape, and you can tell that he's like looking at something on like a workbench. Go ahead and make a perception check.
22.
22. He is currently pulling strange implements out of a brown leather bag.
Of course.
As he looks,
Of
he's
course
like,
he is.
quite pretty. These are.
Of course
I
he
wonder if they're
is.
such a good price, but then again, I want to keep these ones for myself.
Oh.
They're strange and they're interesting, but he's placing them back onto the table as he kind of sets the bag down. And you see a lackey kind of open up the tent and be like, hey boss. He says, oh yeah, what's going on? He says, yeah, I don't want to, it might be nothing, and I don't mean to disturb you. There, some of the bear traps we put out are missing, and I don't, maybe they were moved, and he says, yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously they were moved. They weren't triggered though. Is there a severed leg in one of them, or are you just wasting my time? And he says, oh, I'm so sorry. He says, that was rude. That was rude. I'm sorry. I've had a bit to drink, get a little aggressive. Let me go see where these bear traps are. And then he begins to make his way out as the person leads. You have a moment of opportunity. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try to get in there as quickly as possible and get the bag.
You climb up there, you get to the bag, a bunch of the implements are pulled out, so you have to like pack them back in, latch it. You hear like from right outside, like, hold on, go grab something. What are you doing?
Is there any place I can just hide?
There is currently
No,
what
I
looks to be a
haven't.
cot with like a couple sheets pulled over it that you could get under, perhaps, like a raised cot. There's a chest that you could try and open to see if there's any space in there. There's also like piles of just knickknacks and treasure and stuff that are all piled high. What are you doing?
How close is it to the exit?
The exit,
Like to where I came in from?
could get to there, but you'll have to it'll be quick and it'll be not clean, which means that when you go over there, you're not going to be able to like quietly, carefully get down this cliff. You're going to have to run, jump, grab the rope.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that's kind of risky, but also like, if I
What
have
if he,
to,
like-
I have to.
What if he just is like, I'm gonna take a nap now?
Yeah.
That's you.
She's going to run,
Jump.
and she's gonna jump, and
Oh,
she's gonna
shit.
grab the rope.
Acrobatics check.
Lord.
Acrobatics or dex save, whatever's higher.
Okay. They're the same.
Yeah.
9 plus 8.
9 plus 8.
17. It's a high roll. You run. You leap while quickly reaching your arm out, and you feel your hands grasp the rope, and then you feel yourself
Oh,
the
no.
rope burn as you're slipping.
Can I take my claws out and like
And-
stab it in the side?
As you feel the pain of your claws as you are scraping down the rock, and you slowing your momentum as you grip the rope, and you. There's one more notch left.
Oh my god. How long has it
But
been?
you've made it. It's only really been like a few minutes. Lidara's been since you said like I'll give her 15 minutes. I'd say it's probably been like 10 minutes.
She's probably fine, right?
Lidara, you are hanging there. You have your quick thinking saved you there, as you have the bag in tow. You
Which
shake
hand
your
did you hold
wrist.
it in?
It's like slung over
Yeah.
the
Yeah, okay,
it's slung
okay.
over the shoulder.
Okay.
You begin to maneuver your way back up, and now all you need to do
Let's get back.
is sneak out of this camp.
Come on.
Get the fuck out of here. I need to get out of here.
You climb back up, make your stealth check first.
Okay.
This is, like I said, still crowded, so it's with disadvantage, which means it's a straight roll plus 10.
Okay.
Straight roll plus 10 plus your stealth.
26.
26. You collect the rope of climbing, and you begin to make your way out. You get behind one of the tents and begin to edge away from the campfire, and you hear a roaring shout. "Where's my fucking bag?" As you hear the tent, "Fan the fuck out! Which one of you?" As he's like yelling out and barking these orders, and this loud shout rings through the forest. Birds are displaced that fly out, and you just hear, "Where's my fucking bag?" echoed through the forest.
It's like
as Lidara, the people go from drinking to high alert and moving towards your position.
There's a moment where Vincent's like, "I'm sure she's still fine, right?" And then
And
immediately the shot.
Vincent's like, "I'm sure she's still fine." And Azzurum's like, "Yeah, I mean, like, it's Lidara. What could possibly... Where's my fucking bag?"
Or like,
Lidara, you have not been spotted. I need you to make one more stealth check.
Come on.
Straight roll. Plus 10. This is a high DC
You can
because
do
there
it.
is a whole camp looking for
Natural
you.
20.
That was so close to being a 1.
37.
Oh my god.
You under pressure, you thrive. Yes. The second that these camp people fan out searching for you, this whole camp goes into high alert, turning over beds, turning over tents, like searching and like fan out, like you heard him fan out and that sort of thing. Lanterns go up as it gets darker, and you are stalking away towards your friends. And as you all are getting ready to go, and you see just like if you didn't know what to look for, you'd miss it. You see an elven woman stalking towards you with a bag in tow, and you see lanterns from coming behind her.
We need to go. We need to go
right
now.
Get in the cart and go.
Bonnie hops onto the wagon and just kind of, and you hear, "Shit, get on the horses!"
Vincent, can you cast thaumaturgy?
Do what?
And make it sound like it's the beast underneath the ground. They don't know it's dead.
Absolutely, I can do that.
Make a deception or intimidation check, whichever you prefer here. You hear a couple shots ring out. Pew, pew, as they tear through.
Rolled pretty bad. Both of them are +6. 5 + 6.
11.
3 of them like duck down and like, "What the hell?" And the rest of them are mounting up on horses. As Bonnie tears off through the forest, you have the bag, you have a head start, but there's a chase coming.
Okay.
As those horses are clambering after you through the forest.
I'm gonna.
And
Oh.
that's where we're gonna end.
Yes.